coming to Venus Chara Atmakaraka, or if Venus is the highest degree planet in your chart, then it can show that if Venus is placed in a good position and is not afflicted, then it can show you can be focused on beauty, or you can be focused on self. This also shows that this person may be good looking in general, because Venus's Karaka, one of the Karaka is beauty. As Venus governs beauty, this person may be quite self-conscious to a good degree, or good amount of self-consciousness, where they know how to dress themselves and look good in general, and they will generally be focused on self, trying to improve themselves, trying to constantly improve themselves would be one of the things that would be very prominent in them. They would constantly want to do something or learn something new, and try to add them to their skill or something. Just trying to improve themselves. It may be in any category. There's no specific category for these things, but yeah, they will try to constantly improve in general. Coming to pleasant, they are the type of people who will keep their surroundings very neat and nice, and they are generally very pleasant to be around. So, suppose a person who has Venus Charatmakaraka has, let's say that's a 14 or 15-year-old boy. Then, since we normally, when we are 14 or 15, we normally have clothes everywhere, we are untidy and things. But if the person is Venus Charatmakaraka, they will have everything organized and neat and presentable in general, and they are usually very pleasant and very warm to be around. Yeah, that could be one of the very good traits when the Venus is Charatmakaraka. Moving to passion and desire. Once they fix their goal, or they want to attain something, they will be very passionate about it, and they will try to fulfill these desires, and they'll be very hardworking and very passionate in general. That's why these are the people who would start from being a normal employee to ending up being in a very high position, or something something like climbing a ladder. Yeah, because they're very driven in general. And if Venus is placed good, if it's in this category, then they will also fulfill their desires, and at the same time fulfill the desires of the people around them. So yeah, this can also be one of the very good traits, because a person driven by Venus will generally try to fulfill their desires. But if it's placed well, like Venus being Charatmakaraka, meaning Venus will have one of the very strong influences in their chart. So if this is the case, the person will fulfill many people's desires in general, will be very helping towards others, will try to help them fulfill their desires too. So yeah, that can be one of the very good traits. And they can be very determined. It's very rare, or it's very difficult for them to change their decisions in general, like earth element people. Normally, the level of determination they have is almost equal to Mars people, but they don't have the fiery nature. They will be calm, they will be the diplomatic person who will also have a very strong will and will be very determined to attain something. Yeah. They can be very artistic, and they could do well in fields like arts, or let's say music, dance, or painting, drawing. It can be any of these things, any of the creative fields. Yeah, they're very creative in general, so they could be in any of the creative fields too. Yeah, sometimes even writing, given that is being signified there. Yeah, Generally, if Venus is placed well and it's showing one of these things, like let's say Venus is in the fifth house and it's the Chara Atmakaraka and it's placed well, then this could be one of the things they could pursue. Yeah, they could pursue any artistic field or entertainment industry too. They are creative, and this creative is not just about any creative field in general. This is also about being creative. Let's say they're in a corporate setting, they work as an employee or something. They would find a very creative solution to a very difficult problem. Yeah, that could be them. They are always trying to find new solutions or new ways to do things. If Mercury is also influencing this, then they will generally be the type of trendsetters, like start something new, a new way to a new solution to do some task. Yeah, that could be the thing. And Venus, Charatmakaraka people generally are trendsetters. They don't follow trends, they generally set the trends because they are naturally very gifted when it comes to fashion or looking good, because those are the domains covered or governed by Venus. So they can be the trendsetters, they will be the creative people who will start something new, yeah, and find a creative solution for a difficult problem. Yeah, they will be very skilled and they will be very hardworking in general. They will be very work focused people. They will try to get things done as well as possible. Like they will, sometimes you will see them being perfectionist too, and it's most of the time that will eventually become a very negative trait, because they will run behind being a perfect person. Like they would want everything to be perfect. So to some extent, when that is present, they'll try to enhance whatever they have done. Like let's say they have finished a project, they'll see where all they can touch up and try to improve it in any way. Yeah, they would be that thorough about things, and they would be very skilled in general. It can be any field. Yeah, the field simply does not matter, because they're very hardworking and they're always, in a way, very focused on attaining or achieving a particular result. So they'll be very skilled. Like let's say they would do very good in luxury product designing, or they would have the type of mind they would have is trying to provide or contribute in luxury brands or luxurious things. Like let's say a Saturn driven person would probably think about common people and try to provide products for common people, but whereas Venus driven person would probably start a luxury brand. Like it can be anything, like a jewelry store to a watch company, it can be anything. But they would generally focus on the higher end of the customers. But yeah, serving the 1%ers. Yeah, when your Venus is your Charatmakaraka and it is placed well, then you will probably be able to do this. Yeah, I'm using probably because certain conditions matter when it comes to work. We can't simply rely on the Charatmakaraka planet. And they will have a very good taste in general. They will choose things very, I don't know how to describe it, but they will have the perfect taste. Like let's say you leave a Mars driven person or a Saturn driven person with them, and whichever thing these Venus driven people would buy, the others would always look at it, or it would always feel like a limited edition. That is how good their taste is in general. That's why they do very well in luxury product brands or industry in general. And they are generally very peaceful. They prefer peace over, they are the peacemakers in general. They could be the diplomats who resolve issues among countries. Yeah, they love peace in general. They love peace, they love luxury products, they love comfort, because these are all governed by Venus. And they try to avoid conflicts as much as possible in general. This can be good and bad at the same time, because they can Venus can make a person very tolerating, and eventually it would be like the person would be sitting on your head or something. That is how much they can tolerate in some cases. But yeah, it can be good, it can be bad, but they generally prefer peace. And they can be very intelligent, because Venus is a planet that was regarded as very intelligent and very knowledgeable, even when compared to Jupiter too. Yeah, and Venus helped Asuras, and Asuras always had a very cunning way to do things. So if it is placed positively and this person is a good person, then they can use the same intelligence to do something, to contribute in any way, or just attain something, or achieve something in general. Yeah, they will be generally very intelligent. As far as I've seen, the Venus Chara Atmakaraka people, they are generally very intelligent. They have very good taste in things. They will be very creative, very passionate about things they want to achieve, and they will be very pleasant to be around, and they will keep their surroundings in general very pleasant. Like for example, let's say a billionaire driven by Mars is entering a house, like a 2 BHK house, of a person who is driven by Venus. Then the billionaire would find such serenity or peace in this 2 BHK house, which he couldn't have felt in let's say 10-acre plot or something of his mansion. Yeah, that is the type of setting or the type of blessing Venus can provide to a person, especially if it's placed well. Yeah, this can make the person, it's like the deity that is linked to Venus is goddess Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is the deity that will provide serenity and all the calm peacefulness around you, the fragrant all the nice vibe or nice environment will be provided by Lakshmi. People confuse this to money. Yeah, Lakshmi can provide money, but the thing is, money is completely Kubera's domain. Kubera, Venus, meaning Shukracharya, and Lakshmi are all linked together. So Venus can make a person can make a person very pleasant in general. Yeah. I've seen these 4 or 5 traits very prominent, being very prominently present in people's chart when Venus is the Chara Atmakaraka. Now coming to the negative traits. Now let's say Venus is placed negative, or sometimes, and this applies to all the planets. Sometimes when it's placed good also, people can turn it into bad. Like let's say Venus will provide this person with the enjoyment, or they will know to enjoy things, but they can end up being addicted to. So these are all generally linked to willpower. But yeah, sometimes afflicted Venus can also show addiction or these things. It's not just Venus, it depends on the position rather than the planet. Yeah. So addiction can be one of the things they may end up in, because they simply enjoy being in comfortable position and they want it to last all the time. So in simple terms, they would be prone to getting addicted to things. It may be coffee, it may be drugs, it can be anything. Yeah, depending on the person, but yeah, it can vary. They will be very ambitious for their own good. Like their level of ambition would be too high to reach, and to reach that they would be willing to sacrifice anything, their time, money, it can be anything. And this can be very bad when, let's say, earning person in the family is too focused on attaining something that will not support the family. That can really damage the relationships inside the family and everything in general. But yeah, since they are very driven and passionate people, they can be overly ambitious too. This can be one of the very negative traits. and they can be very materialistic. When Venus's influence is strong and it is negative, they can be so materialistic that they disregard human emotions to some extent. They would really enjoy materialistic things and let's say fashion accessories. In general, fashion accessories would be one of the prominent things they would really enjoy. Materialistic can be a very bad trait for these people because Venus normally shows a bit of selfishness, and when they become materialistic too, they start disrespecting people. It can evolve to so many negative things, and trying to be as detached, yeah, that would be one of the solution. Trying to be detached would be with the materialistic things would be very good for these people, and especially materialistic things when it comes to luxury. Let's say they buy something or get something, no matter how much money they have. Let's say this person has 1,000 crores, and they would buy something for 1 crore, like a car or something, and they would be so attached with this product or this thing that they have, and somewhere or some because of something they get the car damaged or something, and they would be the people to scream and make a huge scene, even though that is a very small thing for them, and these things can be resolved peacefully like a good Venus person would do. But they would be so attached to their luxurious things and being materialistic. This can be make them a very bad person in general. And they like to be comfortable, to enjoy things, and because of that it can make this person lazy too. Depending on the signification of the planets, that can change, but yeah, this can be one of the very negative traits they can get. And they could run behind being a perfectionist, and because of that they can ruin a lot of relationships, ruin opportunities. They can be very selfish. Now, Venus is a planet that will make a person very focused on self and trying to improve himself or herself. But the issue would be when they're completely focused on themselves, even when they have a family, even when they have responsibilities. If they're completely focused on themselves and they're being very selfish, this can really hurt a lot of things like relationships, status. They can choose some very bad, they can make some very bad choices because of them being selfish and ruin their name at times. Yeah, and they will have a lot of desires, just like ambitions. They'll have a lot of desires, materialistic desires, and to attain this, they can go to any extent, because Venus at the end of the day was a planet who supported asuras, guided asuras. So the people influenced by Venus would sometimes, if it is afflicted, yeah, then completely disregarding the law or the right or wrong would be one of the things they could do to attain whatever they want. And they sometimes, if let's say Venus is placed with Rahu, the house it is placed in would play a huge role. Now, let's say it is placed in the second house. In the second house, Venus being Chara Atmakaraka with Rahu would show they would have a never-ending desire to attain materialistic things, accumulate things, and they would go to any extent, especially when it's with Rahu. They can be obsessive about something they want to achieve. It can be something good too, trying to get a promotion or something, but their obsession can get to the families and ruin relationships too, and they can be very obsessive about things. And they would be the people who would never change their decisions. It would be very difficult for them to change decisions, and no one can generally influence a person who has Venus Atmakaraka. Even the people who have good placement would rarely get influenced by others, because Venus is a very intelligent planet, and these people would never listen to others in general. Yeah, they may consider things, but they rarely take the advices of others. And in general, these people, if they're good, they would be the people who would be excellent at advising too. If these people are materialistic, and some most of the time they can be very disrespectful to people who have not attained a lot of materialistic things, and this can make them behave very rudely, look down upon people who are probably fulfilling something else. Maybe their purpose in life, let's say a random stranger's purpose in life is to travel the world or something, and he would spend his money on traveling the world, whereas the Venus Chara Atmakaraka person would probably invest and try to double or multiply the money instead of traveling the world and then travel the world. So yeah, he would at such a situation look down upon the person who is spending his time, effort and money on traveling the world or something. It may be anything, but if it's not related to wealth or materialistic things, they can really treat people very badly, no matter the age or anything. Generally, age simply does not matter for a Venus Charatmakaraka person. Yeah, that is also one of the things I've seen, because they would always feel they are probably the most intelligent person in the room, and they generally have a lot of knowledge. But yeah, once they start thinking that, they'll start losing their intelligence in general, because they would simply make very bad decisions in general. Coming to solution, detachment to materialistic things. Detachment here would be to experience and enjoy the materialistic things, at the same time be detached with it. Don't be so attached, and don't behave in an inhuman way in any given situation, and try to practice detachment. It may be small things, and just trying to implement it in your life would be very good. And Venus is Karaka for all the intense practices, spiritual practices. So performing sadhanas would be one of the very good solution for Venus Charatmakaraka person. And charity, this is very difficult for these people as far as I've seen. Performing charity, especially if it's placed negatively, or just donating, being generous, would be very difficult for them, because they're very calculative and always trying to gain things instead of losing or giving away things. But you being generous will be very good for you. Nature, try to spend more time in nature. Try to stay in nature in general. Try to take walks in the morning, or instead of experiencing materialistic things all the time, try to blend in with nature, like a Ketu person or a Ketu driven person would do. Try to enjoy nature, try to see the good things in nature. Yeah, spending time in nature, traveling a bit would be very beneficial. Yeah, would help this person be detached from materialistic things. At the same time, even though they are indulging in materialistic things, they would have a easier way to stay detached if they are in some way contact with nature. Yeah, try to build emotional connections with people. Here, Venus Charatmakaraka person can be very materialistic and could see gains everywhere. Yeah, they would probably calculate a lot, and see if the particular relationship or friendship would bring them any gain in their life and help them progress. But instead, trying to build emotional connection, it may be to the friends or family. Building emotional connections would make you progress better, because you would actually be tapping into creative and emotional things. Let's say coming up with creative ideas where emotions would have become very important would be one of the main factors. So trying to develop relationships based on emotional connections would be very good. Hobbies. Try to gain new skills, try to spend time learning new things, and instead of always trying to accumulate wealth or anything materialistic, sometimes it's name, fame, or status. So it can vary a lot, like it can be wealth, status, or accumulation. It can be accumulating anything, even stamps, for example. Some people can be obsessed about stamps too. Yeah, it can be anything. Instead, try to have a simple hobby that would help your health and wellness in general, like introducing workouts or exercises. Yeah, exercise can be one of the very good things for these people, because they're generally very calm and thinking a lot. Instead, try to stay fit at the same time, because we, as we think a lot, can ignore our body if we are influenced by Venus as Chara Atmakaraka, because it's all about attaining things and it's all about materialistic things, and we rarely get anything if we are spending time exercising, or at least that would be the pattern of thinking of this person. So try to spend time doing the things that you enjoy. Yeah, try to be in the present, try to have a balanced and good diet. These people would be the type of CEO or any of these corporate people, where they would ignore eating and skip meals and just drink something, and try to eat like once or twice a day. I understand intermittent fasting, but trying to get your nutritious liquids becomes very important when you're intermittent fasting. So it can these people can really ignore their health in general. So trying to introduce hobbies where they do the things they enjoy, trying to maintain a balanced and good diet, nutritious diet will be very good. Trying to be in the present instead of always constantly thinking about future and making profits. Try to be in the present, live in the present. Try to spend time with the people who are very close to you. That would be very good. And try to include exercise. At least 10 to 20 minutes of cardio a day would be very good. And meditate is universal solution, and especially when it comes to Venus Charatmakaraka, these people can really progress well, because the level of determination they have will be very helpful in gaining things through spirituality, like trying to meditate every day, and because of that, having a very clear mind and taking good decisions, making good decisions, and choosing the right choices would help them progress too. At the end of the day, they would always be about thinking about progressing, so they can use meditation also to progress. So I feel this covers Venus Charatmakaraka. Yeah.